So my name is Gabby Joseph. I was class of 2018 at Princeton. I'm a proud men's soccer alum. Walked on, was on the team all 4 years, and was also a molecular biology major. Was a Whitmanite. Miss it dearly. Miss Princeton as a whole dearly, but especially Whitman. And then now I'm currently a third year. So I'm in my third year of the MD MBA program out here at Stanford. Also part of the Knight Hennessy Fellowship Program, which has been an awesome addition to my time here at Stanford. So part of the way through, not all the way done yet, but finishing most of my med school rotations right now before stepping out to start business school in the fall.
Awesome, man. I mean, like obviously, I chose to talk to you first just because of the men's soccer connection. Definitely
Absolutely.
important. But second, I also think you're in a super interesting field. You're in med school in a time of a global pandemic when
Yeah.
kind of the focus and attention is on public health and racial disparities when it comes to health and health
Yeah.
access to care. So I kind of want to start just by kind of talking about what led you to med school, kind of what was your influences there, and then we'll kind of get into that discussion.
Yeah. So that's a huge discussion to have. I love that you're bringing that up. It's top of mind for me here at Stanford. It's top of mind, I think, for a lot of us, especially people of color that are um, not just seeing these things bubble to the forefront and bubble to the surface right now, but we've always known about them. And to have people talk about them is really important. So anyway, getting into medicine, I love being with people, love getting to know people, sort of love that aspect of life, getting to interact with and learn from others. So I knew I was always going to do something in my life that was people facing. And then I ended up being a molecular biology major at Princeton just because I took mol bio as a class, and I liked it a little bit more than I thought I was going to. It just sort of like things just kind of clicked for me, and to be able to understand the human body and medicine as a unit was something that I was like, great, I can do that and I can help people. It's a pretty classic med school answer. You'll find a lot of people are like, well, I like working with people and I like science, so medicine.
So medicine makes
And
sense.
that's my answer. And really, like, I've seen all those things kind of be a part of my life already, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, kind of recently in the discussion of kind of med school, there's a lot of talk about kind of increasing diversity in med school and especially
Yeah.
Black men and getting Black men into med school and kind of figuring out that pipeline. So just kind of curious, what how's it been for you being a Black man, obviously in kind of a predominantly white field, but one that
Yeah.
everyone is really actively trying to diversify. So just talk a little bit about your experience and what's that been like, and then maybe just some thoughts in terms of how do we, make this push for diversifying, the field.
Yeah. So absolutely, that is something that I think about. It's something I think about every day. I will say one of the truly, like, even at this point in my career and my pursuit, I think a lot of people would look at me and be like, Gabby's at Stanford, is in med school. Like, it's already kind of the path is already sort of charted. And that's true. I think a lot of things will be um, I've already I've had a lot of doors be open and have a lot of opportunities as a result of the privilege to get to be here. But I still see Black and men in particular, and women as well. But I see Black male physicians, and I'm like, I can do this. That's someone that, like, I really almost automatically, not for the most part, but get along with, because we understand that there aren't very many of us. And the people that I've come across, and this is, to answer actually what makes a difference, the people that I've come across have been incredible mentors. They've just been men of color that have been willing to take me under their wing, to make being on a rotation a little bit easier, to just make uh, we have to make each other comfortable in the space where we are far and away the minority. And so I think taking care of your people is a big principle. And so I personally, I hope that I can do the same to for people that look like me, that are coming up, that are going through the exact same thing, to be an encourager, to be willing to give my time to mentor. And that being said, that's difficult. That's challenging, right? If the burden is on the physicians of color to mentor all of the students of color who they want to and think have potential in the field, that's an added burden. And so I think what it will take in our generation and amongst my peers is, for example, me being someone who encourages my peers and those that I think um, have great mentorship capacity, but also see and understand what racial inequality and inequity looks like in medicine and why we need more people. It takes those people who aren't black, who are white, really being allies and saying, yeah, I'm going to find and identify students of a marginalized group, whether it be um, women who have traditionally been underrepresented in certain fields of medicine, or people of color, to say, I'm going to mentor these people as well, because they're going to enhance and enrich the healthcare we provide just by way of the stories that they understand and the people that they will connect most deeply with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also just kind of want to like follow up on that and say, like, why do you think it's so important to kind of have representation, especially in the field of medicine in
Yeah.
particular? There's studies about Black babies having better health outcomes when treated by a Black doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You and I before talked about kind of the vaccine. One of the articles I was
Yep.
reading is a group of Black physicians who said, when this vaccine comes out, we're going to look at it and make sure for the Black community that it's safe. We're kind of seeing a lot of kind of Black physicians take up that role of just being leaders. So why do you think it's so important, for representation, and kind of like how do you view yourself as part of the community of Black physicians?
It's another great question, Mr. Charles. um, I think the gut answer about why representation matters, I think it's straightforward. It's, you see something and you think, hey, I can do that. A representation for people of color matters because uh, our country, unfortunately, is built on a lot of implicit messaging, or not built on, but it's built on this original sin. But there's a lot of implicit messaging that I think a lot of young people of color, unfortunately, pick up along the way, just that they may be less than, and that's not true. The fact that somewhere along our history we decided that we were going to assign value to persons based on the color of their skin meant that if you were dark, you were less than. And some people unfortunately still believe that. Some people unfortunately still um, will still push that narrative implicitly and explicitly. That's going away slowly, but you'll talk to people who are older than us, who've been through more generations, and say, yeah, we're slowly moving in the right direction, but we're not there yet. There's still so much, I say brokenness often. There's still so much brokenness in the world where that remains a remnant. And so representation matters because you see the counter narrative to that narrative. You see the antithesis to that remnant. You say, wait a minute, if all these implicit things are saying I can't, but I see that I can, that really does make a difference. In terms of the actual care of patients, I think it matters tremendously because people who resonate with the same stories and understand the extended plight, the chronic stress, the what it's like to walk in brown skin every day, people that understand that just, almost in 5 minutes can ask more pointed questions, can ask more important questions about the things that feed in. And they might honestly just go an extra mile because they know that this is someone they may be presenting with a different understanding of the healthcare system, a different level of comfort with the healthcare system, a different level of trust. And if they take the time to, because they know that that exists, that they take the time to um, massage that, to ease that on a patient, it completely changes the way that that patient will interact with the healthcare system. So yeah, these doctors, Black doctors of color, they're like, yo, the vaccine is good. It's safe. Like, I'm taking it. This is not Tuskegee 2.0.
Right.
And the grassroots efforts that they make to have that be communicated in churches and in communities, like that really does make a difference. Because those are the people we trust those are the people a lot of people trust in the scenario where previously they felt like they couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of following on that idea of just kind of like role models, and especially, for kind of young people of color looking up, and for me, seeing someone like you who's in the profession, it gives me that extra bit of, hope that, I could do that too. that I
Right.
could follow in your footsteps. And I think role models, especially for people of color, are so important. Bringing it back to kind of the school that's represented in the background behind you,
Yeah.
were there any kind of people, professors, or experiences at Princeton, either by people of color or not by people of color, but just kind of people encouraging you on your pursuit that kind of helped you make it through? First of all, make it through Princeton for all 4 years, and then going into med school. Any people or experiences that kind of boosted you along that journey?
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot. Princeton is a great place. Princeton is a place where people really look out for each other. They take care of one another. They mentor one another. Um, I think in particular, so when I was there, Isaac Serwanga, he was class of 13. He had started Profound Ivy and was bringing in folks to chat with us, to bring the Black male student athletes together. Um, I think that's, I'm not sure, but I think it's expanded to just all of our Black student athletes and even more. Um, but that created a community of just people that like we could get in a room and really talk about what we were going through as students at Princeton and really get a sense for the fact that we had guys alongside us. I'm very thankful to Isaac that he kind of started that and really got us looking at ourselves and each other and encouraging one another and saying, yeah, you belong here. Yeah, there's a lot that we can do. Um, I've since run into him once or twice out here on the West Coast. He's in Sacramento now. He's someone that I think of as, he wasn't not necessarily in medicine or and not on the career path I was, but created a space for lateral mentorship, created a space for like us as peers to really bring each other up, and that makes a huge difference. It did make a huge difference for me in those 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And then bringing it back to athletics as well, were there any
Yeah.
kind of, can you talk about just being a student athlete and, the skills you kind of picked up or were forced to pick up as a student athlete, and how that kind of is translated into what you're doing now, or, anything along those lines?
It has made all the difference. There are days I go into the hospital, and I almost operate as if life and everything that I do is a team sport.
Yeah.
You have teammates around you in everything that you do. You have people that you need to communicate well with. You have people that you need to cover. You have people that you need to pick up the slack for. Not that they aren't doing their job to the best degree, but that there is a lot of things that need to get done. There are people that you need to look out for. Um, you make a covering run. You know that someone is off doing something else. You pull back and you do the thing that you do the job that they can't do because they're off doing something more important. Um, I want to be in surgery. That's a career that I'm still really considering pursuing. Almost every surgery is a team effort. You're anticipating the needs of others, and trying to basically fill every gap, fill any role that can be filled. So life is a team sport. Medicine is a team sport. And probably, and I'll add, I think the most important thing that I learned and that I've taken with me. Um, I didn't have, I didn't play the most minutes. I didn't play a ton of minutes, but like the value I think a lot of us got out of that is that even when you're not doing that, you are still a vital and crucial member of the team, and how you encourage others and what your attitude is and um, what you want the culture to look like, how you conduct yourself and how you act around others will contribute to the culture of any environment. Everybody on every team at Princeton, all you guys out there, the attitude and um, the mind space that you bring to practice, even if you feel like it doesn't matter, it does affect your teammates in positive ways and in negative ways. And you can always, always, always be the one that just moves a tick in the right direction, just moves things a tick in the right direction. So really, real life out here, it still is a team sport. I think if you do things well, you will find yourself taking care of others, being filled up by others, and how they in turn try to take care of you. Yeah.
Words of wisdom. You and I we're just kind of chatting about, like you just kind of said, the daily stress of the job, and people, and that's why there's that need for to kind of like help other people who might be juggling, 5 balls today, and you got to help, pick up that slack. What are some, I think that mental health is so important. I think
Yeah.
especially for people of color, mental health is almost doubly important. Um, what are some things that you do to kind of de-stress and keep it light, dealing with a very stressful job, and also, being in a predominantly white space, and that
Yeah.
also kind of takes a toll on your health. So
Yeah.
kind of like, what are some things? You a podcast guy? You read books? Long walks on the beach?
It's hard to get out to the beach out here, even though it's like the 30-minute drive if there's not a lot of time. But yeah, I think that that's a huge conversation that I think we need to have more with people. Um, Especially this last year, there has been a significant uptick in people suffering from depression. There's been a significant uptick in people suffering from debilitating anxiety, and that I just want to normalize that. That is a common thing. It's a part of the human condition, and that we all want things to go wonderfully, and you want things to we all feel better when things are easy, and when they're not, that can throw people for a loop. And in the context of a global pandemic, in the context of a racial reckoning, that presents a wicked combination. And so for me, um, fortunately, I think it was making use of things that I feel like I had in place. Routines, working out is so important. I can't stress that enough. Even from the medical standpoint, like what that does for your mind. If you can just be active for 20, 25 minutes, if that's all you have, right? After your student athlete days, sometimes it's harder to get, you can't take 2 hours out of your day to go and practice with your teammates. But that 20, 25 minutes, even if you get moving, that does make a big difference for your mental health and for your physical health. And then a big one for me actually is journaling. I when I don't have time to when I don't have time for professional help or talking with a therapist or talking with a professional who like is very good at walking people through these things, sometimes you can just write things down to yourself. Get the internal dialogue out into the world. If it's writing it down, if it's calling someone that you're close to that you can share those things with, those are extremely, extremely important. And even if it's just one person, even if really you only trust one person enough to really talk through those things, have a mode of communication that you've made it clear where I want to be able to share these things with you, and it's important to be able to do so, especially if you're walking through this world in brown skin, in any other identity that makes you feel marginalized or makes you feel like you might not be at home somewhere. Um, be sure to care for yourself in that regard by identifying and vocalizing it as much as possible.
Absolutely. Gaby Joseph, class of 2018. Thank you, brother, for your words of wisdom and just your thoughts, man. This is one of my biggest role models. A guy that I haven't even met that many times, but just someone that has always made himself available to me. So really appreciate you sharing with everybody today.
My pleasure. It's been a pleasure to pass the torch along.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man,
Yeah.
soccer.
Man, soccer.